See? So who do we have on? We have some good. Thank you guys for you guys are ready to go. So Regina, you can't hear me. Okay, great. Yeah. All right, Terry, you're from Chicago. God bless you. It is like white there, probably, I would imagine. We just had in Phoenix a freezing night, 30 degrees. I've never been in any below anything. I don't know if I could survive. I think I'm a lizard. Oh, Regina, you're from Washington State. Whereabouts? My favorite place, and I can't wait to go back, is the Olympic Peninsula. Yeah, cold and rainy. We had so much rain 2 days in a row in Phoenix, which is the desert. Normally blue skies and never any rain, not a drop of moisture. So, all right, so let me get my bearings here. So this is how it works. I'm here to help you, here to serve, here to connect with you. And one of the things I'm going to talk about with healing is to be connected to people. So I'm very happy to have you ask questions that I can support you and share my 20 years of experience being a medical therapist and a coach and somatic experiencing practitioner, because let me tell you, there's a lot out there and there's a lot of ways around the traditional medical model that can help you feel better. All right, so let me get my recording going. I've been off on vacation, so I'm like, oh, what do I do? Great. All right, here we go. So we're recording live, and I want to talk about overcoming challenging health issues and different ways that we can do it. So what happened was I was traveling for a training, and it was in San Diego, California, and I was in a hotel that turned out to be very muggy and musty, and I knew that it just didn't, I couldn't even breathe. I didn't feel well. And then I went to the convention center and there were all these aerosols, and I'm a tough person. This stuff doesn't usually bother me, but they have at this fancy, I think it was a Marriott, this air freshener. It's supposedly a green hotel, but there was all this air freshener that I was kept breathing. And 2 days later, I just started with a tickle in my throat. It went down into my chest and it was not pretty. And I just want you to consider when we're sick, and today my primary focus is just, your colds, your flus, your strep throat. We're not going to go in as much into the complex medical issues and the syndromes, but many of this will help you on that. So there I am, I'm at this training, and there are people from everywhere, totally international. Like I felt like I got the plague. So I fight, as many of you probably do, I fight taking the medication. I fight it. I don't want to. And sometimes there is a place for medication, especially, side note, if you're in pain, right? Especially after surgery, there is a need for it in the acute phase. But there are things that you can do to wean off of it, and it's better to wean off of it sooner than later. But in that intense moment, because our body remembers things, we want to take it so we can feel safe and get through. So I had to battle what I was going to do. So the first thing I did was, and I didn't even know that this existed because I couldn't breathe, it is at the naturopathic doctor, they do a nebulizer treatment. So it's one of those face masks and you breathe in the air, and it's a nebulizer treatment that he put with colloidal silver and essential oils. And it helped to breathe. It kind of opened me up. I felt slightly better. And then I went back. I said, I'm going out of town. I have to take care of this. So, and this was like 2 weeks into this cough because I was really just trying to muscle through it, and I couldn't get through it. So again, if you're having an upper respiratory infection or something wrong, is it bacterial? Is it a virus? We don't know. And then they say that energetically, chest stuff, heart stuff, asthma, breathing is grief. And I've suffered a lot of grief and having some family drama right now that I'm not going to get into because I don't need any advice on it, but it's just making me a stronger person, right? So anyway, with the grief, what I took, and I swear by this, it's Ignatia amara, and it is a homeopathic remedy. And when I get anxious in my chest or I'm feeling tight, I will take this. So I was tackling it with this. And then I went and did the Gaia elderberry syrup, right? Very high dose vitamin C, supposedly very healing elderberry. You know, in this, it says that elderberries have been noted to support the immune system, right? You can get this at Whole Foods, at your natural health stores. So I tried that. I've had that in the past. It didn't hurt. It actually, it helped. It wasn't bad. So again, homeopathic Ignatia I tried. So you have to figure out with homeopathy what your problem is. Didn't work, wasn't it? This didn't work, wasn't it? Then I tried another specific homeopathy, which said mucus relief, and it said relieves chest congestion, mucus buildup, and cough. Didn't work, didn't work. Then I just pulled out the big guns and I said, I need medication. So I pulled out the dextromorphin and guaifenesin, and it worked. It helped. It got me through. But you know how many bottles I had to go through? 2.5. And it was starting to really hurt my stomach. And I was traveling, so I was afraid. I didn't know what to do. So then I talked to my doctor. So I went to my primary doctor, who is an osteopathic doctor. And I knew I was going to Florida, and my insurance wasn't going to be covered there, and it'd cost me a lot of money at an urgent care. But just in case, doc, please help me and write me prescriptions. I said, I don't want to do antibiotics because I just did the wonderful, wonderful gut protocol with Dr. Grace Liu, and I'm happy, I'm smiling, I feel great, and I don't want to just kill it. Please, no, it took me forever to get my gut on track. I'm not taking a Z-Pack, but I took it with me just in case I have the prescription. But another option, I felt so inflamed. Every morning I cough, cough, cough. And so he prescribed prednisone, which is a steroid, which isn't good. It lowers your immune system. And if I was flying on a plane traveling, you don't want to lower your immune system. Okay. All right. But I had these for peace of mind, which can be helpful, right? So I had a Z-Pack, Zithromax, and then I had prednisone. It was so much. It was so much. And what helped was the warmth. And being in Florida, which was about 80 degrees, and I wore a scarf around my neck the whole time. And that started to help. But then I got back to Phoenix, and it's colder here in the 40s and the 50s, and the cough started again. And I just fixed my gut. I'm not doing these antibiotics. I was a warrior. And I know many of you, can you relate to me on that? So I called up my trusted friend, Dr. Grace Liu, and she's like, you're still coughing? I can't believe it, because she told me to take this blue-green lung. I didn't bring that up. It's a Chinese herbal supplement called blue-green lung. That didn't work. So she then said, she recommended this, it's called Push Catch, and it's for the liver. And if you guys don't know my story, I'll show you a picture. This was me 10 years ago. I had a rollover, brain injury, coma, broke my spine, near spinal cord injury. Like, I was a mess. And I was in the hospital for 34 days. So if you've been in the hospital, you probably know that you're going to be given medication, and a lot of it. And I was given uppers, I was giving downers, my leg bones ripped through the leg. I was antibiotic after antibiotic and punching my belly with stuff. I mean, it was rough. And I knew that with all of this and in being in an induced coma, that my liver's taxed, right? Okay. But even with the gut, I never knew how to fix it. You know, you watch these summits, there's a million things they tell you to do, but how do you know? How do you know it's going to work? I'm spending all this money on supplements. I can't handle it. No. So got on the phone, Dr. Grace Liu. She's like, wow, you're still coughing. And I told her, hey, I started this push catch. I thought it would help. So in the same day, I did the push catch. I've been taking her probiotics, which are amazing. And this is not a commercial for Dr. Liu. I'm just so grateful for something that worked. And this is a 2-month supply of Bifido Maximus that she sells. It's about $100, so $50 a month, basically. I get it to last longer. And then she told me to take this product, and I can't even tell you what it is. I don't know. I just know I looked on YouTube and I was studying it. It's Metagenics SPM Active Specialized Pro Resolving Mediators. And she said, take this. It's going to act as a steroid. Up it. You could take like 10 of them, she told me. So I just did that. And I went to bed, and I woke up the next day, and it was gone. My cough was like 95% gone. Wow. It was gone. So it's about doing your research and asking for help. And if you go to the doctor, go into the doctor with your bullet point. You don't want to overwhelm him, but ask, or her, ask them for suggestions and do your research. So I went to the natural medicine route, and I'll share what they recommended for me. He was so nice to hand me a sheet with like a million recommendations on it. And then I prefer osteopathic doctors. And I went to one because, can you imagine? And even if you just try to cough right now, it just makes you clench. It makes you brace. And you are how you move. I teach this all the time. So here I was coughing for 2 whole months. My diaphragm was shot. My chest was tight. My neck started hurting. My throat was so sore and inflamed. And if you take a look back here, I'm on a ventilator. So with my trauma history, with being on a ventilator, my lungs have never been the same. So I was compromised and I started freaking out. So the DO, the osteopathic doctor, they know how to release muscles and crack things. So I went to 2 different ones. I tell you, I can't even remember all that I did, but it was a lot. It was a lot of stuff. And they cracked my cervical vertebrae because the neck muscles go down into the chest. And then he did my upper back, the other one, because when I had all this coughing, it triggered all my old traumas that I have. It lives in the body. And if you follow me long enough, I'll teach you about it, and you would experience it. So I've also, after being on a ventilator, and I've tried to do research on this, they don't tell you that, it causes problems and with breathing in life. And I felt like it would cause me anxiety. But from a trauma perspective, this is some machine breathing for you, right? It's like the body's still remembering. And if you've had surgeries, they often tend to remember. The body remembers the knife cutting. And sometimes they're saying anesthesia. And I work with Dr. Peter Levine, and he will say certain anesthesias, your body can feel it. And maybe you're in an altered state of consciousness, but you're still aware. And I've had some I'm going off on a tangent here, but I've had some amazing experiences in my sessions as being treated where my jaw would start going like this. And it would be like, you have to take the ventilator off. It was the craziest thing. So going back to health. So I did all of these things. And oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you about the push catch because I never heard of it. And then it was push catch. And you take the liver sauce. And I was like, I'm not taking liver sauce. That sounds like fish sauce. That's gross. No. But what you do, well, let me just share with you, and you can talk to your doctor about it. It's expensive, but if you know a healthcare person, so I'm a bargain shopper. Let me just tell you, because all my money goes to my health and my education to learn things to how to better help you, how to better help myself. So if you happen to know a practitioner who is has a medical license, whether it's a massage therapist, mental health therapist, physical, all of that. If they're in your family, just ask them, hey, can you get an account at one of these supplement companies? And then you can get wholesale, because this is $180 retail. It's a lot of money, but I got wholesale. So here we go. We have Dr. Shades, and it's called liver sauce. And it's nice. It's herbs. It's a mix of dandelion root, gentian, solidago, some aerial parts, myrrh, and essential oil of sweet orange for the flavor. And it has milk thistle, quercetin, and another herb in there. So what I would do is I would take a tablespoon, and in 30 minutes later, I open up this packet, and this packet has charcoal in it. So it's called push catch. So you swallow this, and you hold it in your mouth a little bit, and then you swallow it. And then it pushes the toxins out of your liver. You put this in 8 ounces of water, and it catches it, and it comes out the other end. So push catch. So this is a product you could talk to your doctor about. I did this as well as this SPM. And I'm not saying go out and get this. I'm just saying that with the right supplement, you can get better. And sometimes you got to go to the right doctor, find the right person, and try them out. And I just cannot believe, after all I'd been through, that I was better after taking like 10 of these in a day. I can't believe it. But now what I'm dealing with is 2 months of chronic coughing, which is no different than chronic pain. Because when you have chronic pain, you're guarding, you're protecting. If you have back pain, every time you get up from a chair, you're wincing. Every time you step out to get out of the car, you're wincing. So then there's this memory, this trauma of having this cough, for me in my case, for so long. So then I went, and it's so important whenever you're sick and you're coughing, and you might not be one to like touch or massage, but people can work through your clothes. but it's important to release all those muscles. So for throats, for headaches, for upper respiratory cold, you know, you got to go in and fix things. And I'll just share with you, I got my skeleton here. This all gets congested and structured. We get really tight and all of these little muscles and bones in our nose. So it's definitely a great idea to get this released when you're really dealing with some sickness or coughing or COPD, anything like that. All right. And so I went and had a friend treat me. She worked all the muscles of my neck that I was coughing, my belly muscles, my diaphragm, my pecs, the chest. If you take your thumb right now, and you just push in there, ow, right? I feel it. We get so tense. And all day, every day, we're forward. We're either typing at the computer, we're holding our phones, we're driving in the car, we're eating a meal, we're drinking, we're flex forward, rounded forward. So it's important to, when you're going through a health issue, is to treat the skeleton, to treat the muscles. Because sometimes, and even with chronic pain, even a bad knee, a bad hip, a bad back, a bad wrist, a bad elbow, those muscles are so locked down tight, you've got to get them released. And again, I know pain and I know health issues. I've had a lot of stuff in life. I've only just really addressed those with you guys. And so with that, we've got to get the fascia freed up and increase the cellular talking to each other, the cellular communication, so that your body can flow. So is that helpful so far? Do you have any questions about what I've talked about just so far? Let's see. I'm just going to check our little Facebook group to see if there's anyone watching in there. I hope we're in there. See, I don't know if yeah, we should be live streaming. Technical difficulties, one moment here. All right, great. Yeah, we are live in there. Okay, so I'm going to go through my list unless you guys have any questions. And I see you in Facebook now too. Hi, Ruth, you're in there. Hi, Sam. Okay, so back to Zoom. Okay, so Shobha is asking how we address joint pain. So we've got muscles, and those muscles get really, really tight, and they push the bones together. So doing self-massage, I have lots of tools. Oops, right here, a ball. You can use a ball to release the muscles. You work above and below. And if you have more questions, you can email me specifically, okay? But you would release the muscle. And it's so important, the food we eat, because certain foods we eat can cause inflammation. That's where you get that fiery, red, hot, burny, stiffness, aching. That is usually a sign of inflammation. So for me, for my cough, I was inflamed. I was hurting so bad. And that's why the doctor said, hey, I'll write for prednisone. In fact, a little trick, what I did was I went to the pharmacist when I was buying my third bottle of cough syrup. I said, hey, I'm going to the doctor tomorrow. I've got this cough. It's just not going away. Other than an antibiotic, what can I do for it? What can I ask my doctor for? Because they won't recommend. What can I ask my doctor to explore? And he told me, try prednisone. So I say, well, prednisone is the worst, the lesser of two evils, because if I do the antibiotics, it's going to totally destroy my gut. And I just fixed it. And that is a miracle. And I'll do a live on that one day. And if you want, email me. I'll send you the interview I did with Dr. Grace Lou. So with joint pain, again, it's structure. It's how you're sitting. It's how you're moving. Depending on your age, you are how you move. And you might not consider it right now, but how you've used your body your whole life starts to add up when you get older. And that's why we get arthritis. And it's like stuck gates, you know, we're just tight and the gate can't quite open. And that's what we call arthritis. So I hope that was helpful for you. If you're on Facebook, you can look in the Pain Treatments That Work group and just go way back to this past summer. I did lots of training on each muscle system and how it affects different pain in parts of the body. Okay. So now we've covered that Phaedra did a million things. I didn't spend a lot of money. I did a million things to get physically better to overcome this serious health challenge. Because when you're not feeling good, it's hard to be motivated. You don't want to talk to anybody. You want to just stay in. And then I felt like I started beating myself up that, oh, I just don't have the energy, but I got to keep working. I keep doing what I got to do. In fact, the holidays, I was kind of stir crazy. It's so unstructured. Having time off is just unstructured and I don't do well. And I'm just loving being back to work today, getting things done. I feel good. So let's just go back as we're talking about more of the colds and the flus and just not feeling so good. Now, the primary treatments that are easy, they are free, but it is about saying no to other people, as I've been teaching. And it's about taking time for you, because you got to remember, when you're sick, your body is healing. Your body is fighting off stuff. So, for example, in the Christmas holidays, why would you choose to go battle the cold weather, battle the mall parking lot? Did you see some of those mall parking lots this winter? And battle all the crowds, touching everything that's already germy, when you could just stay home, order from online, or make them a simple card or a poem or something and say no. Because when we are too busy, when we do too much, when we're sick, our energy is going out and it's not coming in to heal our body. And when you get sick, it's important to know that you don't always say you just touched a little 3-year-old today and you're already within a couple of hours, you're already feeling it. No, there's a prodromal stage. So usually for me, I think I flew over to San Diego. I think it happened on the plane. And wouldn't you know, 2 days later, it started. It got really, really strong. So again, resting when you're sick so you don't burn the energy. You want the energy, you want full energy to be healing your body. Healing your body, that's what you want. Extra clothing to stay warm. I had a scarf on all the time. And if you're in the US, Costco Sunbeam brand has a plug-in heated throw. I live under that. I have one in every room that I'm going to be sitting long periods in. Instead of having to crank the heat and dry my sinuses out, I keep it on. I'm on top of it. And I had a tester of EMFs. And it tested fine. It was safe. And only test strong by the electrical outlet. So getting a warm blanket, it's plug-in, it's easy, it's low electricity, and that will help you, because when we're cold, our joints shrivel and our muscles tighten up and we're just uncomfortable, right? So you want to be safe. You want to surrender. You want to say no. You want to give yourself the time to heal. All right. And a fever is good. According to this naturopath, Dr. Todd Winton in Phoenix, avoid Tylenol, Advil, or other medications to lower the fever. Why? Because fever is our body's way of fighting the illness that we have, right? And it's comfortable if you're comfortable, right? He wants us to break our sweat. So dress a little warmer so that you can break the sweat. And the fever is so helpful in boosting your immune system. I didn't know that before this. So now if a fever gets above 103 degrees, then ideally use a tepid bath or a cold cloth rub down to bring down the fever. So tepid bath, not too hot, with a cold cloth to bring down the fever, right? So yeah. And then another thing, okay, and I know some of us, I'm included until I did this gut protocol, sugar junkie. I love sugar, right? But if you knew that sugar lowers your blood cell count, it lowers your immune system. It literally affects your immune system. And if you know, with cancer, they say stop sugar, it feeds cancer cells. But why would you eat something when you're sick that's going to continue to decrease and suppress your immune system? So again, stay away from and avoid sugar and processed foods. And how nice, you can focus on bone broths and soups. And you kind of want to eat light, right? Because again, we go back to that energy thing. When we load our belly up with all this food, it has to digest it. Energy is used for that. So it makes more sense to use a healthy bone broth. All right. So, and then for extra water, let me share my #1 water love right now. It's on sale for a killer deal at Target right now, 10 for $10. So it's $1 a piece. This is Hint Water. I met the woman, I talked to her. She had health issues. She was pre-diabetic. She was living off of Diet Coke. Bad, 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 very chemically. So she changed it. And what she did was she created Hint. It says water infused with cherry and other natural flavors from non-GMO plants, unsweetened, enjoyed chilled, right? So ingredients: pure water, cherry, and other natural flavors from non-GMO plants. I did try to ask her how she gets the flavor in here because it's amazing and it's a secret. It's something about being distilled, and it's a couple of drops of this flavor. Now, regular price is about $1.79. So what I like to do is I don't drink this straight. It's good. It's a treat, but it's strong. So what I might do is grab a cup, add water, and just put a little bit of this and take it out. So yummy. I'm going to have a sip right now. Hydration. Do you ever see a wilted plant? It's just kind of wilted. It needs water. And the cells, everything inside us needs to be hydrated for health, for the the blood cells, everything to communicate and talk to each other. So if you're feeling tired, you're feeling achy, you're feeling fatigued, please, please, please try some water. Again, hint water. They have pineapple, they have cherry, they have blackberry, apple. I mean, every flavor, and it's so cheap at Target right now. Another thing I used is ginger, and I'm really excited. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is a brand by the Ginger People. I got this at Sprouts, which is a local health food store. Not quite Whole Foods, but similar. They're opening up more on the West Coast. And this is a ginger drink with turmeric. And then I also used ginger oil, and this is peppermint oil. I would put that in my tea, my herbal teas, and that would help my throat because it wasn't in my sinuses or anything. It was all up in my throat. So again, ginger soothing drinks are awesome, and they're easy to find nowadays. And again, you can dilute them just like I dilute the hint water. And what else? So herbal, I talked about herbal teas, which are non-caffeinated. Caffeine tends to dehydrate us. So get your water, get your warm liquids in any way you can. It's always important for any type of health issue to drink and to hydrate. All right, so that's on there. And then I don't know how you guys did with the holidays. I'm single, I'm alone. I went to Florida with some friends who are like family, and I had a nice peaceful time. But a lot of my clients were in situations that they didn't want to be in, with people they didn't want to be in, and we're working on their confidence and the ability to say no. But really think about if you're around family members that stress you out, right? And stress is just going to make you sicker. It's going to make you clench, tighten, and brace, right? So we want to avoid or reduce people and situations that create stress. We want to avoid them. We don't want them. All right. And sometimes, I was a stickler. I asked everybody. I didn't want to take the antibiotics, so I didn't. But sometimes they are necessary. They are. If I didn't get better after trying this little supplement, I would have had to. I probably would have started with the prednisone first. It's the lesser of two evils. So again, going back to other treatments for upper respiratory colds, things like that, you do want, I said avoid sugar. You also want to avoid dairy. Dairy causes excess mucus. So you don't want to be eating that yogurt when you're already draining and, mucusy. Not so good. Okay. Now I tried it through the nebulizer, but they say colloidal silver can almost act like an antibiotic. So colloidal silver about 6 times a day. Vitamin D, and I have had success with this too. I did try this as well. High doses of vitamin D. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to prescribe it. You can search Google and just put in vitamin D dosage for getting for colds. And I've had up to 100 drops. I've read where 50 drops a day can help give you energy. So do your research on that. It was a great tip I got from a naturopathic doctor. And if you think you can't afford one, keep trying. I found one that took insurance. Brilliant, right? There are a few out there if you try, depending on where you live. Okay. Vitamin A, unless you're pregnant, don't take vitamin A, but vitamin A would be helpful, he said. Eat as much garlic, onions, turmeric, ginger as you and your friends can handle. Well, I chose to take it this way as well in a liquid. Vitamin C, those emergency packets. He says here, take one every hour until your stomach feels a mild upset. That's your maximum dose. Because if you continue, you'll get diarrhea. And this is usually between 6 to 12 doses. Interesting. So I would see this. This is the type of person I am. This is what got me better. I do my research. So I go and I search and I Google. And I might be brave to call my doctor and leave a message with the medical assistant and have her ask him. Okay. And then there's some other things like dry sauna, Vicks rub, or Thieves oil, which I believe is a Young Living brand. You can put that on your chest. Now, there are other treatments that, again, I did a nebulizer with the colloidal silver and essential oils, but I didn't want to spend the money. It's about $150. I wasn't going to spend it. You could get, I wasn't that bad at that point. You could get an IV nutrition IV, which what they do is they draw your blood. I'm sorry, they have nutrition IVs, and then they have ozone IVs. Nutrition IVs, they inject you, they find your vein, and they give you vitamin C, magnesium, other concoctions of things, vitamin Bs, all of that. And it just drips into your vein. Or they will do the ozone IV treatment where they draw your blood, they put some oxygen in it, and then it runs through the IV bag. They put it back in the IV bag. It runs through the IV bag through a UV light, and they inject it back into you. And it's supposedly great for killing bacteria, viruses, all kinds of gross stuff. I did it this summer when I had the food poisoning in Mexico, and I did feel good, and it did help me. So those are some other things that you can do. I think I've covered a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, one more thing I tried for the mucus in the chest is tapotome. How does it say? Tapotement cupping. So you just, and you can have someone in your family. I was patting on myself. I was dancing, just trying to shake up all the muscles to get the ribs moving, to get the lungs moving. I'm still needing to kind of work it and get some deeper breaths in because, again, think about 2 months of really chronic coughing. And I know that this plague has been going around because I talked to a client today who said her husband had the same thing. And so that's that. Are you guys having any more questions? Yeah. Okay, so Shobha's talking again about, you're just tired and lethargic all the time. Again, I would say see if you're vitamin D deficient, okay? And you have a lot of indigestion and allergies. Email me. I can share Dr. Grace Liu's program. It's a great program right now. It includes 2 tests and a whole bunch of supplements. In the hay fever, it sounds like, and again, I'm learning this from my experiences, the gut. The gut can be out of balance and you're just full of allergens and your immune system is highly activated. So laying off the sugar, definitely laying off the dairy, increasing hydration, it will thin out the mucus. And how to relieve the congestion, you need to open it up. You can look at the cupping, just kind of cup your hand or have someone in your family do it for you. And then on the back side, then you can watch a YouTube video on it. It is TAPOTE ment cupping, tapote cupping, right? Just put cupping for coughs and that will help you. But again, if you're hurting all over, if you're fatigued at a cellular level underneath your skin, there's something going on. All right, any other questions? And I just want to run through real quick to look at some mindset pieces because I don't know what level of problems you're having. I'm very happy to help you through them today in any way that I can in the next 5 minutes that we have here. But what that takes is courage on your part to ask the question. And I'm happy to do that because I feed off your energy. When you engage, I engage, and I'm going to be doing this every Wednesday. And we can get to know each other. And so you can reach out. I'm a resource. This is free. I'm happy to help you. I've been doing this a really long time. I'm not a doctor, but I can definitely help you navigate the doctor system. Don't be afraid of your doctor. Ask questions to your doctor. Stand up to your doctor. Really get to know the receptionist. Get to know her. Be nice to her. Be friendly. I think that's also really good is about making connections with people. No one's better than you. Just because they're a doctor, it doesn't mean that they're on a pedestal and they're a god. No, it just means they have different education than you. You're equally great in what you do and who you are as a human being. So you have to know that you're good enough to ask the doctor to push and say, you know what, doc, if you can't help me, do you have a referral? Is there a different practitioner? Somebody you can recommend? Is there a supplement I could take? Can you please let me know? And if you don't want to bother the doctor, get to know their medical assistant. When I was in, this state, I was still in that brace 3 months. So I was taking cabs everywhere and I'd cobble in there and I'd ask questions and I'd demand. but it's also how I'm showing up. So you got to warm up to people. You can't just be a taker. You got to go in. I just ground myself. I'm very positive, very smiley, very easygoing, except at the restaurant the other night when this girl stole my bar stool, and that was really mean. I said, I can't believe you just did that. I'm a really nice person and you just stole that from me. It was really funny, but I won't go into that right now. But you've got to speak your truth and you have to fight for you. And if you don't like what the doctor's saying, figure it out. Find a way. If you're on Medicaid, if you're on disability, call the Medicaid office and get an advocate. Go to the area council on anti-aging. They have social workers there. There's always a way to help you. Okay, so I just find this way to connect with people before I ask. And I'm kind and caring and I'm generous. And I ask them about their day and ask them, how is your family doing? Oh, wow, you look really tired today. You doing all right? And I connect with them before I ask for what I need. And it works. I applied for a loan the other day. By the way, this stupid government shutdown, it's affecting so many people. And it's just going to start to trickle down and hurt people whose their paychecks, they're just not going to be getting them. It's really just going to be awful. And it affected me the other day and I was so upset. And I was on the phone with a loan officer. And the bank guy told me to talk to the loan officer. And there's no way, he said, these loan officers, they're not going to help you out. And I just connected with the loan officer and he was giving me suggestions and telling me how to kind of lie on things and da 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 da. And the guy at the bank was so surprised. He's like, I can't believe you got him to do that. But it's just that I showed up vulnerable. That's another key. Like, I'm really hurting here. I'm really struggling. I need your help. But sometimes we want to act like we're holding it all in. But no, just be vulnerable. Say, look, I just got a divorce. I'm really struggling. I've got 3 kids. I can barely make ends meet. Can you help me? People want to help. People want to help. And I realized that after 9/11, it was horrible. It was horrible. But there was nothing more that I wanted was to show an American flag and solidarity and to reach out for help. That's who we are. But then we get so busy in our stress patterns in our lives that we're in our own little world. But really, everybody wants to help, but you have to ask for it. And sometimes, as Brene Brown teaches, I don't have any problems with this, but you have to be vulnerable. You have to share maybe. Look, I've been to this doctor and that doctor and this doctor. It's not working. Can you help me, please? And see what the results will be. Do you get that? Right? So again, I'm just going to go through a little bit here about just some mindset pieces that you can do, right? And the first thing is we need to move our body because we've got our organs under our skin, under our bones. We've got our organs. So the first step that we need to do is to be active, right? We need to be active. We need to move. And I'm not saying join a gym, work out. No, walk. Get out of your chair. Dance if you have to. Put on a little music. But be active, right? Because the more active you are, and it's physical, mentally, spiritually, and socially, the more active you are, the higher the level of wellness is likely to be, right? And being sedentary and uninvolved, it really does make it harder to overcome these health challenges. It really, really does. And being active helps reduce stress. It helps that anxiety because when you're busy and you're doing and you're moving, you know that you're safe. The tiger's not chasing you. It's so, so important. So I want you to really think about being active so that you can reduce your stress. You can improve your overall happiness. And sometimes even just practicing mindfulness. Even if I have all these fun tools here. Even if these are squishies, these newest things out that are ridiculously overpriced, but they're fun. If I just look at this for the moment, it just stops me from my mental thinking that I'm going over and over again when I'm alone by myself or having a hard time. So you can orient mindfully to grab something, touch something, feel it. So that shows that you're safe right here in that moment, that it's not attacking you, right? And then the next thing that's super important is you have to be connected, okay? Social isolation is associated with problems like cardiovascular disease, inflammation, hormonal changes, and emotional problems, right? So we got to connect with people, right? Regular involvement in social activities with supportive friends and family will improve your resilience and your ability to cope with all the curveballs, the disappointments, the traumas, and everything else life throws at us. But here's the good news. You only need one person. You don't need a whole bunch. And I tell you, it takes work to find that one person. They're not just going to find you. You have to go out and you have to be active and you have to find them. It could be, I'm going to go to that lazy yoga class where I just lay down, but I'm going to be in a group of community of women, and I'm going to leave the class and I'm going to make an effort to talk to somebody. Get out of your comfort zone, right? And again, it can be hard when we're older or we move to a new town, and just volunteering at a club, being more social, and even online groups. I have clients all over the world. I love when they're reaching out to me and I can talk to them. I myself am in a group program. So I have friends in London, friends in India that I can reach out to any day and time. So it just could be a phone call. It could be a Facebook group like this. That's my hope is with our pain treatments group that everyone will be a little more social. You guys aren't doing that yet, but hopefully, if you're watching, will you just please say hi in the group and give me a comment? Okay, so then the last thing that you have to do is you have to be committed, right? Engaging in activities that give life meaning and purpose will increase our sense of confidence. And it'll increase our satisfaction with life, right? And this will vary from person to person, right? But whatever that might be, it might be volunteering, working on community projects, mentoring, teaching, taking on challenging things, helping a friend, that we want to be able to contribute because then we feel good about ourselves, right? Because if you're struggling, just begin to practice, right? I want you to be active. I want you to be connected. And I want you to be committed. Because when you have that support, everything can be yours. I promise you. No matter what your situation is, what your status is, what your home life is, just find one person to connect with. Connect with us here every Wednesday at 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern, or 6 Eastern, 7 Eastern. Sorry, I'm in Arizona. We're odd numbers. Okay. Any other questions that I can help support you with? Was this helpful in any way tonight? I was just sharing my healing journey. The biggest thing with all this junk that I tried, what does it tell you about me? I didn't give up. I did my research and I found a way. And I did things that scared me and I asked for help. Oh, that's hard for so many people. But look at all this junk. And this isn't even all of it, right? It isn't even all of it. And I was resilient. I'm persistent. And I just want to encourage you in that. I don't know how to describe it. It's like there's this fire in me. I'll dabble into my childhood and things that happened then. But for now, I just have this resiliency in me. But I'm totally accident prone, right? I was in the hospital a year and a half ago. I fell and I broke my back. And I got all these hospital bills. I still have them. And I just realized my credit got dinged because of an unpaid doctor bill that I didn't know because it was just such a mess trying to figure out medical bills, right? But I'm going to figure this out. And I'm going to call and I'm going to get it off my credit and I'm going to figure out who I need to do. If I have to say, I'm going to speak to your supervisor, I'm going to speak to your supervisor's supervisor. I'm going to call the credit company, and I'm going to get things figured out because that's what I do. And I'll find a lawyer, but I'll find a friend who's a lawyer so I don't have to pay for it. You know what I mean? There's just different strategies that I can do, but it's like, be creative and know that there is always a way. So any questions? You guys have any questions for me? Any health challenges that you have? Because I talked with one of my clients today who's watching, with whatever muscle problem you're having, whichever pain you're having, there is always a way. But we have to sometimes put blinders on, right? We can't be watching all these summits and all this and that and the other thing because we get distracted, we get overwhelmed. It's too much, it's too much, it's too much. But What happens is when you really just start to get in touch with your body and you start to feel when you get activated, when you get stressed, or when it feels good. When it feels good, when it's a right decision for you, the right person to be with, whatever that's, it's just this freeing, it's this openness, it's this expansion. If it's not right, it's this clenching, it's this bracing, it's this, and it goes into my whole theories of what's not working in your life. What was your childhood like? What are your belief systems? Are you in freeze? Are you in fight? Are you in flight? Are you shut down? Because it affects our immune system and it creates all of these health challenges. And I tell you, if you're gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, it might sound like a death sentence. Well, it's a death sentence if you eat all these other foods that are really bad and causing inflammation. But there's always something you can do to replace a food that you might miss. But the key is to eating on time, not going too long without food, that you're starving because those cookies, those cupcakes are like crack. You can't stop them because you're so hungry, hypoglycemic. That's why they say don't go to the grocery store hungry, because I buy potato chips and I buy ice cream and I buy chocolate. So can't do that, right? But is it worth it? And as one of my experts on the Pain Treatments That Work series said, it's like the pain of stopping, the pain of, name it, hip pain, fibromyalgia, autoimmune, MS, Parkinson's, the pain of that has to be worse than the pain of giving up gluten, giving up dairy, giving up sugar. And it just takes perseverance, but there are resources out there and I'm happy to help you with them. So you got my email, any email, it's just me. I get all of them. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to just this year, let's build a community where we don't have to be alone, where we can speak out, ask for help, talk about our problems in a safe way. But it is about expressing ourselves and being out there. Any other questions as we wrap up? So good to have you guys on. Hi, Jim. Hi, Kay. And Maria's on. Nancy. Jim knows. Jim knows I was coughing. He's like, you still have that cough? Yes. But it's gone. It's really gone. All right, guys. Any other questions? Come on. It's the new year. I know I felt today, I had too much freedom over the holiday. It drove me crazy. It really did. It drove me crazy. I like structure. I like to know that it was just too wild. So I was really excited for today. Because too much downtime, too much alone time, too much TV time, I go a little cuckoo. Anyone else? Ooh, let's see. Oh, you're welcome, Maria. I don't have any brave souls, huh? No one wants to ask a question? I have a question. Did anyone have any crazy hard times during the holidays this year? I was really in the flow. What happened was I was kind of, because I'm single, not married, don't have kids. And I was like, I don't want to go to like a fancy restaurant. I don't want to go to a bar or a nightclub. God, no, I don't want to do that. So I surrendered and I was just like, okay, I'm just going to stay at home. And then a friend sent me a text and she gathered a bunch of women last minute and we were able to get together at her house and have a fire. And we wrote down, and maybe you guys can try this safely though. We had a fire pit. And we wrote down all the things of 2018 that didn't serve us, that we wanted to get rid of, those things that we didn't want to bring into 2019. And we listed them and listed them. And I tell you, thank God to Grace Lou, I told her I'm going to be talking about her today. My gut health is so much better and my mood and my depression is gone. I didn't really have a lot of things on my list, but I wrote them out and I burned them. And then we lit some paper that is an intention paper for the new things that we wanted in the year. I'm in not going back for seconds on the yummy foods. Yeah. How about this, Regina? Instead of bringing the whole bag to the sofa with you, get a little bowl and maybe put 3 pieces in there and just cherish them. Be mindful of what you're eating. And Shoba's asking when the best time to take probiotics. Yes, probiotics help the gut. And again, if you go to thegutinstitute.com, this is Bifido Maximus. And this is a 2-month supply of actually, mine's lasted almost 3 months. You don't have to take it all the time. But I didn't think I had parasites. I didn't think I had bacteria. But I got food poisoning in Mexico. And it showed me that there clearly was a gut issue that I didn't know I had because I don't have stomach issues. I don't have any problems. So if you can clear out the parasites, the candida, the yeast, and any bacterial microbes that might be in there, and then support it with the probiotics. So you can take probiotics anytime with or without food, but you don't want to take them near critter killers like anti-parasite type of medicines and things like that. Oh, I'm sorry. Christine's asking a week. Oh, well, thank you for asking. Yes, that will be in the future because it's on my vision board. So it's going to happen. Yep. I'm going to be working with someone here to help me because it's a little scary to try to figure out and then please everybody and find a destination and the activities and all. But you're definitely welcome to come to Phoenix, Arizona. I do intensives and sometimes I had a client, I got to get her permission to share this video. She came in hobbling, like in so much pain, chronic pain for 6 years. And on the first day we did 3 hours and she was walking normal, like, amen, life is good, right? I could refer out, but not, I've had a gift. You know why? I understand the body very well because I broke it all. I broke it all. I know a lot of things and I know all the connections from a deep place and I've got so much training and that's where my money goes is I want to better myself and better you because I specialize in helping people break free from pain. And I'm talking people who've tried everything. And the hardest thing is to convince you that I can help you. Because you've tried everything, you've spent thousands of dollars. By the time people get to me, they're resigned and don't feel they can get better. Why am I going to help you? Right. And I'll be working on, I have some strong thoughts. I'm going to be using my physical therapy benefits this year to start exercising more and get some strengthening in, but it's going to kill me to see all these people in pain hobbling around and I can't do anything for them because they're choosing a different route than what I would choose. My hardest part of my job is convincing you that I can help you. But if you come into me with chronic jaw pain, I had a woman, 9 months going to the chiropractor, jaw pain, neck pain, hospitalized her. They didn't look at her C-section scars. They didn't look at the fact that she was in a traumatic relationship and an abusive marriage, and she was had all these children that she was taking care of, trapped in a marriage, and couldn't work for herself, didn't have any money. Can you see why she's stressed? So we've got to get to the root of the pain and what's underneath them. And then, yes, Jim will tell you, sometimes I give you a ball or a tip or how to move and release the body, and you end up sleeping with the ball. Anytime you hurt, you put it somewhere and then you feel better. But you got to know where to put all that stuff. So, Christine, email me your information and then I'll get back to you and maybe you could just help me start that fire of getting your treat because I would love it. I'd love to connect with all of you because I had a client today message me, how exciting, chronic sciatic pain running down her leg, foot cramps, you name it. She's going to Morocco. Hello, I'd be scared to go to Morocco. She's going because she's out of pain at 64, 65 years old. You don't have to be in that. You really, really don't. Oh, good. So, Ka, you do the PT. Yeah. So use your physical therapy. So here's what I've got, a physical therapist who has a Pilates instructor in the office, and they do one-on-one. So I can use my physical therapy benefits to get Pilates one-on-one with all those great machines that are amazing, that don't stress out the body, that don't challenge you. I'm a little concerned because I'm a trauma survivor. You guys know this with your guarding, and they don't necessarily understand. If you haven't been through it, doctors, surgeons, therapists, you have a little disadvantage. I have a great advantage. I've been broken, right? So I think that certain exercises aren't good for certain conditions. You just have to listen to your body and know when you're bracing, when you're clenching, all that good stuff. And start slow. It's also important to eat right. It's important to be active. And it's be active physically, moving, but not forcefully. Swim, right? Go to a hot tub and start moving around. Turn the radio on and dance. Go for a walk. And then be active in life. Because oftentimes underneath the pain is a desire, a longing desire that you're not able to make or meet or make happen. And I got my vision board. It's a huge one. I'm dreaming of a hot tub. It's up there. Where's the hot tub? Hot tub and a sauna. And I'm telling you what, I don't know when, but I'm going to make this happen. I should probably put a goal on it, a date for the goal. But I really want to inspire you. And I so much see that underneath chronic pain is just a part of life that's not working. But you might not have the courage to believe that you can actually change it. I woke up from a coma. I was out of work for a year. How do I survive? But I did. And I asked questions. And I get these great treatments covered by my insurance because I ask questions and I call. And yeah, sometimes I'll drive 4 hours round trip. Sometimes I'll go from Phoenix to Tucson in one day just to see one practitioner. But that's who I am and that's my fight. And I want to find that in you. Because when was the last time that you overcame something? And it might like really foggy. You might not be able to remember. But when was that last time you conquered? You stood up for yourself. You were a success. Because that person is still there inside you. And we just have to let them show and take action. Any more questions? All right. Thanks for keeping me company. I will see you every Wednesday, 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern. Oh, Belva, real quick. You have herniated discs in your back. I do too. I do too. And there are treatments you can do. All right, I'll bring out my model. Here's your back. Here's those discs. Let me just move this out of the way. And if you sit too much or you sit the wrong way, you sit cross-legged, if you sit like a banana slouched on your back, it's going to start to impact these. If you thrust your ribs, it's going to jam. If you've fallen on ice and hurt your tailbone, it's all part of the equation. So when I work with people, I teach you how and what muscles to release. I could teach a spouse to treat you. And we also need to consider the pelvic floor and freeing up the muscles down there. If you've had hysterectomies, if you've had vaginal tearing with delivering a child, episiotomy scars, hysterectomy, all of that ties in, as well as the muscles in the front of your body. So I teach you how to work the muscles in the front of your body to free up the back of your body. And that's the missing piece that a lot of people are learning. And even Kay today, I taught her how to release the muscles in her jaw and her mouth. We put gloves on and we worked and showed her how to do all that. And she felt the improvement. And I did too. My whole cheeks dropped. My muscle structure changed. Yeah. So there's always a way. There's always a way. And honestly, I knew I had back pain, but when I fell and they read the report and, okay, you know this, the way the doctor approaches like, oh, you're bone on bone. So when my back hurts because I'm sitting in this chair too long and I'm hurting, I say, I have bone on bone. I'm dying, you know, and I catastrophize it. But if you just find the right muscles and you release it, you really can get out of the pain. But I do believe in eating right and moving a little bit. I'm not saying I'm not one that's huge on exercise, but activity, moving, stretching with a yoga strap. You can email me and I could share my 5-day pain relief challenge with you. And that has a lot of great things to help you. Okay. All right. So you can do it. Who would you be without the thought I have herniated disc? There are people who have great MRIs with tons of pain. And like myself, really bad MRIs with not that much of pain. So I just know how to release it. And there's always a way. All right. So here's to a wonderful, happy, but very healthy 2019. Lots of things are saying it's going to be a great year. It's going to be a great year. So again, I want you to know that. I'm going to be joining you here. I hope you join me. And I love that you're asking questions because it just gives me so much just energy to further serve you. I have 20 years experience. Please use that anytime, Wednesday nights, 4 p.m. Pacific. All right. Take care. Have a great, great, great night. Bye.